Yo, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of urbanpitch.com, co-executive directors of Vibes. To my left, Bridget Flores, Julio Monterosa. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
Girl, I love you.
You my everything.
Oh, man.
The Vibes is here.
Yeah,
all
summer's
three of us.
coming to an end.
Jesus,
Summer's coming to an end. This is going to be the first episode.
2024 is coming to an end.
I know.
Damn.
We're heading into the fourth quarter.
How
That's
crazy.
Q4.
The 200th episode is coming near us, bro.
This is 172 for those of you counting at home. So we'll get to 200
early
Around
January.
December?
No. What's 30 weeks? 30 weeks is like
8 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's
it's
Yeah,
close to that.
because it's like 7 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Months.
So like
Damn.
so we'll probably get like
not considering like the holidays and all of
right,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like 7 months.
It's around the corner.
7-ish months.
So March, May, Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, maybe around May we'll do something crazy.
Cinco de Trinco.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how fast this year's gone by. I mean, I think
really
the summer we were really amped up for it going into it, and then it just
Now
kind
we're tired.
It was kind of a tornado. Yeah, I know. We were just talking about before this, just like the crazy weeks and all the stuff that you guys have been doing your jobs. I've been more inside, low key, and maybe that needs to change in the fall. But
You've been booked and busy though.
That's true. But
You've been flying out of town.
Like for the last 2 years, it's been wedding season for you, bro.
and it's just nonstop. So
it's practice.
It doesn't stop. I know.
That's how you manifest it, you see?
2
You
years
got to
ago,
be involved to make it happen.
I've been hanging out with him. He's been a couple for the last 2 years.
I've been hanging out with you. That's why I'm secluded from it.
Yeah. You guys together, it's like magnets, like the
Girl, I love you. You my everything.
Like a positive magnet and a positive magnet, they push everything away. That's y'all.
We both positive.
There you go.
Exactly. You guys are staying positive.
Stay positive.
But what was your thoughts overall? Now that the summer's coming to an end, it's starting to get darker a little bit earlier. Daylight savings is coming up. What are you guys' thoughts on the summer of it all, and whether it's, if you can start at the beginning with Copa America and the Euros going into the Leagues Cup and the Olympics and all this stuff that's gone over. But what are you guys' biggest takeaways from the summer, both on the pitch and off the pitch from like a vibes perspective?
Yeah, man. I honestly think that right now it just feels like this year has gone by really fast. I could have sworn I was just planning what my next 6 months were going to look like, and we're already in like 4 or 5 months left to spare of the year. So it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty insane. And I think that has a lot to do with the amount of things that have been coming up. I feel like Copa America took over so much of my like time.
Right. Yeah.
That like after that finished, I was so exhausted. Like I had very little energy for the Olympics.
Right.
And
Yeah.
as much
Yeah,
as I
we
wanted
talked
to
about
get
that. We
into
talked
it,
about
as
it.
much
Yeah,
as
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to get into it, at the same time, like so much like on a personal and like work life level just came up at the same time that I felt like so much came back to back. And then now we're in September and I'm like, I could have sworn it was just July and we were just watching Copa America. Yeah. So I think overall time really has gone by quickly, but it's also because of so much that has been coming up, which has been a good thing. For me, like a summer full of like footy, a summer full of like competition and games and tournaments is great. It also just makes time go by fast, and it also kind of can like be a little bit exhausting, but in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Because now that the Olympics and all the international soccer is gone, you got the La Liga, you got the EPL starting,
and all this stuff is kicking in right now.
And the stretch of the domestic league. So like,
EPL just started. I'm just
Real Madrid is struggling. Like all that. Like I'm finding myself at work trying to like keep up with the games. I'm like, dude, I can't. I gotta pay my bills before like.
I know. And then a champ. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. The Champions League draw was today, so that's gonna start up in I think end of September is when it starts in a new format. Maybe we'll do an episode on that, but
for the soccer sickos, it's like
it's
they're wet
prime
right
time. Yeah, come on. But I think if the Copa, a lot of people are saying the Copa America is like a tune-up or a trial run for the World Cup in a couple of years.
They better get it together though.
It did seem like there's a lot to be learned from, and so now CONMEBOL was kind of running things, and maybe they didn't really understand like the atmosphere and what to expect. But now that I feel like they got this out of the way and they got some of the growing pains, behind them, hopefully behind them. 2 years from now, there should be no excuses for what should be. I'm sure there will be. There's always road bumps in the road or like just
Mistake
stuff that pops
there,
up.
yeah.
We'll see that. Like that's just a given. But hopefully, it's not to the point where it's like, what is going on?
Well, the thing too is that like it's not just Copa America. Like as a preview to the World Cup, it's also the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I think that the Olympics happening in Paris as well, like I feel like there was a lot of people that were from the U.S. out there trying to figure out like what's working there, what's not working to bring back to the U.S.
in 4 years.
Exactly.
Break dancing was not working.
Bro, I could have been in there.
That kangaroo move was crazy.
The moves I learned from Honey, I could have done it.
Shout out to Reagan.
Shout out to Reagan, bro. You a professor. Stick to teaching, because doing you it ain't it. No, but getting back to soccer, like it's crazy though, because now like after all this, we're gonna get into the drama of the qualifiers. What little team is gonna qualify? Now that you take the three big guns from the CONCACAF, is it gonna be an island team? Is it gonna be Central American team stepping up to number one? So that drama is what I'm here for. El Salvador disappointing all the Salvadorians again. That's what I'm here for. Like I'm ready to be sad for El Salvador,
Right.
but like I'm thinking like a Jamaica bringing EPL players, Santa Lucia, Guadalupe, like all these little small little island countries are bringing the EPL stars that are not making it to England, but they have a lot of their ancestry from these little islands, so they can qualify to play for these islands. Like it's gonna be a lot of people coming to play CONCACAF knowing that the three big guns are gone. So there's I think it's like three spots to get into to the World Cup. So adding more teams to the World Cup, like the Copa America and the Olympics was just a little bit. And now we're getting to the net and grid. Like who's gonna make this World Cup? Who's gonna be that small team that qualify and make a big story? So like
the underdogs.
Underdog, everybody likes a good underdog story. So especially in CONCACAF, CONCACAF is gonna be
a lot of underdogs in CONCACAF.
A lot of underdogs, So and then if you saw AFCON, like a lot of teams, that was a lot of drama.
AFCON was crazy too.
Probably the best tournament that we've seen so far, just because of the drama.
Like laser pointers.
They had a little bit of everything, but then you have Europe. Like, is Cristiano Ronaldo gonna play that last World Cup? Like
the big heads.
The big heads, Spain
true.
having a young team. They're in a winning streak. Are they gonna? Or is that young team gonna win the World Cup? So. Even though we're tired, we gotta get it together.
A lot of stuff to prepare for.
Yes.
And you mentioned St. Lucia. St. Lucia just won their first Olympic medal with the women's sprinter. She won the 100, or was it the 100 or the 200? I think it was 100.
Yeah. Was that the race where
Shikari
couldn't warm up properly?
Yes. Yeah. So Shikari and
no excuse. Congratulations to you.
Shikari and Fraser Price, the Jamaican Shelly-Ann Fraser Price, who's countless medals and world championships, didn't get to the gate in time, couldn't warm up properly, and so there's that whole drama. But so I'm excited to see that too. But let's go talk about the big dogs a little bit, because there's some news brewing over the last couple of weeks, especially after the Copa America crash out for the U.S. and the dismissal of Greg Berhalter, which we talked about. But now it's still not official yet, but it sounds like there's a verbal agreement between the U.S. and Mauricio Pochettino to be the new manager. We haven't had a chance to talk about this. This has been in the news cycles for the last couple of weeks, but just with the different guests that we've had on, it was on the list, but we just couldn't get to it.
And even then, it's still not official.
Yeah, and still now there's some feet dragging. The agreement is purely verbal, and you know how that goes. Like Julio knows all about verbal agreements and committing to those. But
sorry.
What are you guys' thoughts? Let's say this goes down. There was like rumblings that this was the week that it was going to get done. It's Thursday now. This will come out on Tuesday. Hopefully by then there'll be some kind of official news. But if this does go down, let's just say it does hypothetically. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Because I'm curious to pick your guys' minds.
Well, from listen to other.
Wait, we didn't specify exactly what we're talking about.
Mauricio Pochettino becoming the USMNT national.
Yeah. So from listening to other players, he's a player's coach. His ex players love him. So and then it's a winning coach. So the expectation that this guy can bring to the team, tactics. I know Ramsey's not you can't do it with national team. That's not where I'm at. This is a great European coach that's had success. So he has to have the respect of these players.
Yeah.
And now all right. So now you got that coach behind you. So the expectations is growing. There's no excuses now. Greg cannot be your scapegoat no more.
Right.
You got what you wanted. Now show that potential that supposedly you have. Because after this, if you guys don't do anything, that potential that everybody talks about, it'll be like Greg Oden. It'll just be disappointment. So I think it's a great move for US. It shows that we actually do care. We want to get better. We want to be one of the top teams in the world. Will it be this World Cup? Probably not, but it's showing that we're taking a step in a great direction.
Well, you really wanted Thierry. So how are you feeling considering, not that it's official, but knowing that this could be the one person that comes in? How do you feel about that?
Dude, if a World Cup champion, you see him with the Olympic team France, his players love him. He's a great. He's always in a great move. A guy that his tactical expertise. I would have loved him just because I know if I was a player, I would love to play for a player, especially as a player. Even if they don't want to say, if your coach can't do what you did while you were playing, you obviously don't respect them. In college, we had two coaches. Sorry, Jay. We had Kenny Dale. Kenny Dale played back in the 80s. Steele tried to play a little bit. He was at an older age, and then we had what's his name? Sorry, I just said his name. Jay. He knew the game because he studied well, but he wasn't a player. He wasn't a player, so every time he would tell us hey, hip facing the opposite corner, we're dude, or kick the ball like this, shows how to do it. So even though we respected him, we didn't give him the respect that he deserved, just for the simple reason that you can tell he never played, but he knew the game because he studied it. He just never was a good player. So having a player that knows how to play and can coach, you listen to them a little bit more opposed to a player that can tell you the right things to do, but you never saw them do it. Yeah,
but I think what Pochettino brings that Thierry Henry doesn't necessarily have is the experience. I think Henry, he's
young in his career.
Yeah, young in his career, and then hasn't really had that great success that Pochettino has had. And I mean, Pochettino, he struggled. He had his struggles as well with PSG and the.
But
Messi,
he's coached
Neymar,
the best players out there in the world.
Right, exactly. And so he's coached Kylian Mbappe. He's coached, he's coached Messi. He's coached Neymar. He's coached, at Chelsea, all those great players. Tottenham took Tottenham to a Champions League final. Yeah. So he has that experience that Henry might not have. And while Henry might be the bigger name from a player's perspective, from a coaching perspective, I think Pochettino is the hire that a lot of people were wanting, to be taken, seriously as a nation. Whereas, someone like Greg Berhalter doesn't command that, whether or not he actually deserves it, or whether or not that he could be the greatest manager of all time, but he doesn't come with the expectation, the pedigree, and the respect that someone like Mauricio Pochettino comes with.
And honestly, for the World Cup, instead of talking about how great like he set up a team or how great the focus was like, oh, what shoes is he wearing next game?
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta respect the drip though.
The drip was, hey, shout out
Drip
to
go hard.
the Surgeon shoes he had. They were super hard,
Yeah.
but yeah, he just didn't have he didn't have the resume for the expectation.
And so that was always the thing with him was he could have been a great manager.
Yeah.
Like we're not there. We're not we can only see what's going out on the field, right? And there was a lot of stuff that we criticized, and that maybe rightfully so, but just the fact that he doesn't have the pedigree that someone like Pochettino has, you're automatically going to like blame him first, whether it's the player's fault, whether it's the coach's fault, and we saw that a lot. So now with a manager that is well respected, who has pedigree, who has coached at the highest level in the world, now it's going to show like, okay, you know, is this team really as good as we think they are? Or maybe like if this coach can't do it, then who can? You know what I mean? So I think now this is a point in time where it's exciting from a fan perspective, because it's like, okay, like we all this talk about potential, all this talk about, you know, golden generation this, golden generation that. We've seen, you know, hints of it. We've seen flashes of it at the World Cup, at the 2022 World Cup. I think there was definitely flashes.
That was good. That Netherlands game we lost because Netherlands was a way better team.
But
whether we want to agree on it or not,
we just haven't put everything together yet. They're now, you know, this 2-year window is going to be crucial. In terms of the players' ages, the players' development. So I'm excited to see this. And now that we do have a manager that, like you said, Julio, can't be the scapegoat anymore, I just hope that they don't overhype, because like American fans tend to do this.
American fans,
they overhype it. They raise the expectations even higher than what they already were, and then all of a sudden they're going to be running like Pochettino out hashtag campaigns after two friendlies where we struggle to get against, you know, Uruguay or something.
Canada's gonna be your first game.
Yeah, exactly. So I just hope that we keep a level head about this, which is not going to happen, and give it time.
Online.
Yeah. I feel like for the U.S. with Greg, here's how I see it. I see that Greg for the U.S. men's national team, it came off as like the father figure. Like he knows the team, he knows the country. He was a part of it for a while. Like he has the experience. He has that like the behind the scenes experience as well. So it's like it was the type of thing where it's just like you respect him, but you also are like,
that's my boy.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah. Like I'm cool with you, and I'm also comfortable with you. And I feel like bringing in someone foreign that has a diverse amount of experience and that has European experience and that has like the highest that you could think of beyond whatever, you know, like World Cup wise that you can exceed, like you, that kind of is a little straighter. Right. You stand up a little bit straighter. Like you feel a little bit more intimidated because you don't know him. And at the same time, for the men's the U.S. men's national team, having Mauricio, what's his? Pochettino. I think of Pinocchio. I don't know why. I was just watching Pinocchio. That's why. But Pochettino, having him come in.
Yo, Pinocchio, low-key scary, like a really scary movie. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But the most recent one was really cute.
Okay. I haven't seen that one, but
it's really cute. Anyway, I think that he comes with, again, like I said, a diverse amount of experience, but it's also a whole foreign mindset. And I feel like the team, okay, I'm not going to put any expectations on it. Also, I'm not the biggest U.S. men's national team fan, so I can't talk as much as I could, like, compared to you guys. But I feel like maybe this could help because he's bringing a different type of mindset to the point where, like, it's going to challenge them because they're being taught and they're being coached on a level that they possibly haven't been experienced before. And if they have, because they play for European teams, coming back on a national level to be coached by a European coach, I feel like that's going to bring a whole nother mindset for the team, but also for the coach himself, because you're coming into something that is completely new for both. Whereas when we had Greg kind of knew how to speak to them. He tried to maybe like relate to them on a certain level, but I honestly think maybe this could be that little ingredient that the U.S. men's national team needs to give them that, like, okay, here's a little bit of intimidation. What are you going to do with this? Like, you don't know how to, like, connect with this person. So how are you going to find that connection as a team?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think a lot of what we heard about the players loved Greg, and
they all went to war for him.
And
Exactly.
there was like a level of comfortability or maybe even complacency that came with having, you know, like it's like, you know, when you're in school and like it's the cool teacher, and you know, like you feel like you can get away with a little bit more,
you know,
when
they're
it's the
gonna
cool
let
teacher.
you.
And then every once in a while, that teacher, if he's a good teacher or she's a good teacher, they'll be like, yo, like let's lock in, like quit messing around, like we got this to do. And so whereas it's like if it's like a strict teacher, maybe you get a little bit more out of your students, even though they're less comfortable in class because you know, they're paying attention a little bit. They're scared to mess around. They're scared to goof off. You know, he's not doing behind the back passes.
Yeah.
And,
Here's how I
rocking,
see it. When I was like
off-white ones.
That part. Yeah. When I heard about it, and again, like I'm not the type to be like, oh yeah, the history from back in, you know, because I don't know the history behind the U.S. men's national team. But once I heard that this was a possibility, it reminded me of when I was in high school, and obviously I played for the women's soccer team at my high school. And we were getting coached by obviously our coach, but he wanted to kind of like give us a different and a more challenging experience. So we started practicing with the men's soccer coach and the men's team. And so once we had that experience, it was foreign to us. We didn't know what to expect, and we also knew the expectation was going to be 10 times because they are men, and they're men being taught by male that have by a coach that has a lot of experience. Like not only was it like a coach that was a soccer player himself, but he had an assistant coach who we called Profe, and everybody loves Profe. Like everybody respected Profe, and Profe came from like he's had international experience. He's played on like the top of the top teams. Like he's had a handful of experience, and we all knew that, and we respected him for that. But to be put in a position where he's going to be the one to coach us, to tell us what to do in practice, to show us what's right, what's wrong. Like I think at least for me as a soccer player and as a woman, being in a space where like I'm being like put at the same level as like men, it made me realize like, well, this person has a whole nother experience, and like I have to be open to understanding what they're telling me because they want me to be 10 times better than what I am now. Yeah. And I feel like that's what the U.S. men's national team is about to experience. Like they're about to experience a whole nother level that could make them 10 times better. And it's on them, honestly, to take that in, and it's also on the coach to know how to deliver that. Yeah. And it's going to take practice. It's going to be challenging, but I think it could be what they need to like make things happen in the next 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. What just happened right now is when a small company just got corporate. So you get to get it together because your spot is not going to be secure. You don't have that. You don't have the history with a Greg that's seen you as a kid. He sees 22 spots, and he has to fill them with the best players. If you're not it, you're not it. And because now we have that leader that can take us somewhere far. That 5th, 6th game in the World Cup. So I'm excited for what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there's another new talent coming up under the U.S. I always forget his name. Kevin Paredes, I believe his name.
Paredes, yeah.
Yeah. He showed out in the Olympics. There was a few names as well. And
Tanner Tessman just signed a deal with Lyon from Venezia, and he played well in the Olympics.
So there's a lot of young talent. And those rosters, even if you're that big name, like make sure that you're playing the best. You're showing up every practice because your spot can easily be taken away.
Yeah, hopefully we see the competitiveness go up a little bit, because I'd like to see there's a good amount. Like we have the main guys who we watched for the last few years who were the young guys, and now there's a new crop of young guys that are in that 22, 23 like, you know, age range where it's like, oh, you know, like Pulisic was just there, you know, 3-4 years ago. But now, you know, once you start getting into those late 20s, the expectation level starts to rise a little bit.
Pulisic, he's balling right now for AC Milan.
And you know, he had a great year last year at Milan, and it looks like, you know, so far he's continued that trend, and hopefully we can see these players continue that upward trajectory, because this is what we need.
Hopefully we can get a healthy Tyler Adams, because I feel like he's so important for this team.
He's the pulse.
Oh man, he's so important for this team.
Yeah, tone setter. You know,
my type of soccer I like.
Yeah. So, yeah. We gotta get Tyler Adams on that.
Man, I might be a fanboy, to be completely honest. Yeah. I just love his game. Like drinking a Truly right after that. That was it a Gold Cup win, man. with a banger, like
with a banger too.
Banger.
Absolute
So,
banger, yeah.
hey man, this is pro Tyler Adams pal. Like this podcast is all about Tyler Adams.
Yeah,
We love him.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
No homo.
Tyler Adams for president.
Tyler Adams for president, man.
2028.
Kanye disappointed me.
He was never gonna win.
Yeah.
These
Julio
nuts
might
at
have-
2%. Like,
Julio might have been the only one to have stock in the Kanye presidency.
bro, if he would have pulled out with first album like playing in the background, I don't know, but
Game changer.
yeah, when Trump came out with like Many Men,
all of a sudden he's like, hey man, maybe this guy's up to something.
hey man, he was cool. But then Kamala came through and she was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What's up?" So, right now it's all up in the air right now. That 50 Cent.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But forget about that, man.
Literally.
Yeah. A lot is at
lot.
stake here for this nation in the next couple of
Dead
years,
ass.
both
Dead
on and off the
ass.
field. So,
I don't know, man.
whether or not
Kamala came out with the tan suit like Obama, and I was like, ooh, hope.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Hope.
Yeah, we got to start like a Patreon politics only.
We would be the worst pod for that because if it don't make me laugh,
Yeah.
I'm probably not watching. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Well, you sold it very, very good there. So keep tuned in for that. But let's move on. Anything else that you guys want to get off your chest about Poch or the U.S. men's national team?
Get it together.
That uniform better be fire, Nike.
Nike, Julio, that's just pro out of you. That's just a great pro out of you move
Transition.
because
He's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I know what I did.
He knew what he was doing. Come on.
No, but for real, that Nike, Urban Pitches posted earlier today that SB
Why can't that ever be the thing? It always
Yeah.
has to be super professional. Like,
No,
why
like,
can't that be the next World
let's
Cup?
let's have that as a jersey.
Yeah. So
Nike has beef for-
speaking of Nike, so Nike recently released their third kit lineup for their elite teams. We didn't get a chance to talk about this with Jessica Black last week because we went over a lot of the new kit releases. But now that this has been officially revealed, the big thing with this is the vertical swoosh, and obviously Nike is very particular about their branding, right? They work so hard to establish this, right? And so this is kind of a big deal that they moved it upwards. The whole thing is, at least what they're saying is that it's to represent the growing and increasing momentum of women's sports, which to me, like, it doesn't really fit because, like, that's not what I like when I look at that, and you have to tell me that, oh, is that what it's meaning? Like that means it's not a good. If you have to tell me what it means, then if I can't figure it out on my own, like then that's not the best messaging. And number two, it just looks awkward. It looks weird. I don't know how. I mean, a couple, like the Corinthians one was okay. I like the design of Tottenham's, but what are you guys' thoughts on this whole vertical Nike swoosh?
I don't know,
collection?
but like I think the Canada Nike, like the one they had, like, was it last season they pulled it up?
Right.
Probably my favorite Nike swoosh, like because it has a little like inside the bubble, like it gives you back like retro vibe. So I'm happy with that. Anytime they switch it up is good because like we talked with Jessica when she was here, it's starting to feel like repetitive as hell. Like, so hopefully they can switch it up. It's a lot of teams nowadays, so I don't know. I feel like they're trying to figure it out, but keep it coming because it's not it.
I feel like I think not that I know, but I feel like Nike is very particular about their branding, and like they keep it very consistent, and we love that because Nike's so old school. Like, it's so OG that like you know where Nike's at, you know what it is. But I feel the jerseys, the kits, the concept of it. I like it. I like the idea of giving a space and giving representation to the rise of women in sports and being an all gender inclusive concept. I think that's super dope, and you got to keep that, like, because then it just shows that you understand that the women's sport is growing, and we love to see that. I think that they try to use that concept to build themselves and to give themselves a different type of look. Yeah. Which I'm like, is it working? I don't know, but I appreciate them trying to like lean into the flexibility of like creating a versatile image for themselves. I feel like if it's going down though, like it's just like
it looks like it's
the check is going down. Like we should be going up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So to me, like to go off on that, it doesn't feel like it was like that's what it really meant for. And maybe it was like a misprint on the thing, and they're like,
let's just add it to this.
We kind of messed up the printer.
All of the
yeah. We already got 200,000.
The new hire.
So what are we gonna do? Let's see.
Let's see what's going on.
Women's sports. Growth of women's sports. Oh,
that works. You know? But like I said before, I think they're just sleeping right now. They're waiting for World Cup. It's a lot of soccer, so like they're just waiting for like the World Cup to come. So once that World Cup, because that Germany announcement was crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you took Germany away from Adidas, something good has to come out.
You would think that there is something good. But they're not getting it till like 2026 or something.
For the World Cup, I'm saying they're like, all right, the intern can get this uniforms. Like you got this. Like let us think about the World Cup, because when the World Cup is gonna be big.
Yeah. I think that
something else I was gonna say too is that I also think that from what I've seen, I'm not gonna say what or who, but I also think that there's a lot of people out there. And I think it makes sense that they're just trying to rebrand Nike on their own, you know, like on an individual level. You see a lot of people repurposing Nike fits, Nike pieces, Nike clothing, Nike shoes. Yeah. And I think that now maybe that was like an awakening to the company of like, okay, people are doing it. Like, why aren't we? And why shouldn't we?
Yeah, that's why they sued everybody.
Yeah, like upcycling vintage Nike stuff,
Yeah.
or like vintage clothing in general has been a big trend, and a lot, like 90% of it works.
Total 90 kids bring them back.
100%.
Yeah, so there's a lot of nostalgia, especially in soccer, especially in sports, and you see, you know, they go to the retro well a lot. Adidas especially, they did that this year.
They're killing it right now.
They did a good job, but at the same time, you don't want to overkill the retro stuff. You don't want to be like, yo, like retro. And to the point where it's like, yo, okay, we've had it with the retro stuff. So Nike's done, I think, an okay job. And I will say that a lot of the designs, and Bridget, you touched on this, but the designs, they're kind of out there. They are, you know, they're trying to do things, and it's not like they're just throwing stuff out where it's like they didn't try. It looks like they tried here, and maybe they missed the mark, but I applaud that. I'd rather have it been like that than like a last minute thing where it seems like, you know, like, yo, we forgot about this deadline. We gotta put something. And you see that a lot. Like you do see that a lot.
Or just solid colors, and we're just like where
it's like, yo, you really took 2 years to design this. Like, is this for real? Like, so it does seem like a lot of work went into this. Whether, you know, we make jokes about, you know, it being a misprint and them trying to cover their tracks, but it does seem like they're trying. It does seem like, you know, that they're trying to push the boundaries, and maybe it's not working. Maybe it's ahead of its time. Maybe 5 years from now, we'll look back on this and be like, yo, this was cool. But
because the total 90 to the side, like the laces to the side, when they first came out, everybody was like, what the hell is this? Now, like, everybody wants to wear those shoes. Like,
I used to have those.
Me too. I had them in black and gray. So like,
I had the red and gray ones.
I was upset when my dad bought them for me. So I was like, man, you can't give me like some Copa Mundiales, like. So, but like now, I wish I would have kept them cleats, because I would have resold them.
Yeah. I feel like, and if it is a mistake, I mean, the best lessons come from the mistakes you make. So, hey, do your thing.
Shout out to my exes being happy now.
You're like Good Luck Chuck, huh?
Hey, yeah, that's a throwback. Speaking of retro,
hey man, trust me, I've been on one. I've been watching like I was watching Grown Ups 2, Good Luck Chuck, Step Brothers.
Shout out to Adam Sandler, he's a genius.
I've been trying to just go back.
Grown Ups is like, that's kind of like post Sandler's peak.
Yeah,
to me, it's like lower, lesser Sandler.
It's like he was just like, you know,
out there going for checks, and you know, I respect that. I respect that he goes to like
dates, though?
Hawaii. He's always 50 First Dates, classic. But
hey, but shout out to him, because I will not spend that much energy on a girl. You gotta redate her every day.
No guy spends energy on girl nowadays. Let me tell you.
Goddamn, 50 First Dates.
50 First Dates.
You better start remembering, girl.
That's why you're single, my guy.
My guy, you get 3
complain.
at most.
Yeah, you can't complain.
You got baseball rules.
Yeah, 3 strikes.
You're out.
Okay, let's move it on to another thing that came up. Cristiano Ronaldo is getting in on the content game. YouTube. This YouTube account. He's got like
channel.
He's got like 45, 50 million subscribers within 2 weeks of getting that. So
in 24 hours,
did he get like a gold, platinum? Like
you get something with like a million.
Day?
You get something like you get the gold plaque and we're still waiting on ours.
Yeah, so like all some of the YouTubers, like all these plaques they worked so hard to get over the years. Like he got all those in one.
Yeah,
24 hours.
And not even, dude. He had like 1 million followers within like subscribers within like
He's
like 2-3
yeah,
hours.
so I was seeing Speed. I was seeing his little reaction because I guess like. He passed him. He has like 20 million followers. Yeah. He passed him in 24 hours. And like,
that's his guy too.
That's his goat. That's his goat.
Speed's a wild boy.
He's a wild boy. He has these kids.
You think that Ronaldo followed him?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but he was like, "Hey, follow me, King," or something like that. He put something in the comments.
He loves Ronaldo.
He crazy.
But Speed also has game too. Like he has hella followers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been doing his thing.
You saw that like 24 hours that he did with Kevin Hart and Drewski.
Oh my god, dude.
No,
that was Kai Cenat.
That was Kai.
Hey, but yeah, Kai.
But Speed, yeah.
They're
all up there too.
Yeah, they're all up there. Like Kai Cenat, like the AMP little movement they have is pretty funny. But yeah, just like seeing like him jumping into the YouTube space.
What the heck? Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about who was it? That was it Speed that jumped over the Lamborghini?
Yes.
Yeah. Was that real? I don't think that was real.
I don't know.
It seemed like he was live streaming it. I don't know, man.
I don't care. Everybody knows that Kobe one was fake. Yeah. But to me, forget all y'all.
Kobe did it first.
Ronnie Turioff was out here egging him on. Shout out to the French King.
Ronnie
Turioff. Yeah, man.
Open heart surgery. He
had open heart surgery before. Yeah, man. We traded him before he can get one with us. Shout out to him though. Man. He didn't get one. He left to Golden State.
I remember they did something to Golden State.
He was not here when Paul Gasol was here.
Dang.
Oh, but yeah, like I don't know how I'm gonna jump over a kid's car next week.
Yeah, we'll angle it so it looks like it's how
car.
Like in movies they do like the miniatures for like the overhead, so it'll be like a big building, but it'll be like the size of this table, but they do the overhead shot so it looks like it's that actual size. We got to do that.
But
we got to do some movie magic for Julio.
Going back to CR7 going YouTube, like I love to see it because like I see the Jeff Teague pod, the Draymond Green. Especially Jeff Teague's like he just had Mike Bibby on a pod. And they like they talk about like what happens in the locker room, funny stories that happen. Like, but now you get to hear like hopefully Cristiano Ronaldo.
But the thing is, the difference is with that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like Jeff Teague has personality, and he's not like he wasn't the big like he was. I mean, he on one-time All-Star, but. He wasn't the biggest name in the
exactly
game. But Ronaldo, to me, everything he does seems so sterile and like and for good reason.
It's just
and he's like
kind
of like almost a robot. And I haven't watched any of the videos, so it could be different.
What does he do? What's the purpose
I mean,
of
like
his
him and his
channel?
wife are doing stuff.
They vlogging?
Yeah, he's like.
Are they?
Yeah, she's like rating his outfits from over the years.
No way. I cannot imagine.
I'm gonna go watch it, but I'm saying
I can't imagine them doing that because they're so reserved.
Yeah. But I imagine a Marcelo coming on with a CR7 like vlog.
You would think
like that. Marcelo has fun. It's funny, like just. But even if that, like, if you can just give us a little glimpse of what happened in those locker rooms, I feel like we will all we would love to hear it because, especially people that none of us went pro, none of us play on those big levels. Like we want to know what happens in these locker rooms.
You know what's crazy too is that like we're talking about like for example Kai and Speed like. They're young people that like started off of YouTube, started off of vlogging, and like have made them a name for themselves through that. Right now, we're talking about like Ronaldo, right? Like he's been a big name. He's a legend. Like we've been talking about the fact that like when is this whole Messi versus Ronaldo thing gonna end? Yeah. And there's so much history behind that. And now he's going on YouTube. Now he's creating channels, and he built all of that in like a span of a week. So it's just like
he has a whole team. He has a team to do
right. Yeah, but like I mean him himself like in the fact that we have there's so much accessibility to all these people now, but like he's such a legend. Like we would have never had that with like Ronaldinho back in the days, you know what I'm saying? Or like with like, I don't know, any of the like legends that we grew up watching. Like they are so far away from us. And now we get to have this with Ronaldo. It's just like very interesting to see what this is gonna look like.
Yeah, and I mean, like LeBron James has his own show.
Chicharito's been real successful with his Twitch.
Yeah, Jonathan Dos Santos is on OnlyFans.
Yeah, Jonathan Dos Santos is on OnlyFans.
Once he got that porn star mustache, he didn't know how to react, yo.
Man.
So maybe he can be like the Ronaldo of YouTube, but of OnlyFans.
Yeah,
like, so
it could be. I mean, it's a partnership. Like, if it's for the partnership, we gotta support.
Speak for yourself. Like, come on. Like, you. I saw your name under the subscriber list.
I'll see it on Reddit.
I switched my IP address.
I'll just see it on Reddit.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. You would. That's the crazy part. Like the fact that you know how to access.
Hey, shout out to my young ones, bro.
To my Reddit fans.
Hey, my young fans, they put me on game.
Crazy.
You're like, just go on Reddit. That's what they.
That's crazy. Or Twitter or X or whatever.
Or Twitter, yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh. I don't have Twitter, X, whatever, but I've heard it's super explicit now.
It's
like,
the Wild West out there.
Bro, I only follow one person on Twitter, Urban Pitch.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go to like the random ones. Just I try to hear it. I'm trying to see some like because MLS stories or trades.
Right.
I'm old school. I put LAFC rumors or whatever to see if I can.
Yeah.
But then like you get into a wormhole, I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You're right.
My mom better not have a Twitter.
Dude. You can't be scrolling in public. Like,
no.
It's wild out here.
You'll find stuff. Or if you're trying to find something, that's where it's
at.
Allegedly, I don't know.
The energy you put out comes back to you.
Yeah.
Free of
charge.
Twitter
free of charge.
I'm happy.
Hey, that's your algorithm, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's yours. Mine is on news.
I'm happy that wasn't around when Kim Kardashian was out.
Hey, okay, all right. Let's wrap things up there.
Let's start.
It took me a while.
If you want to hear more, subscribe to the Patreon.
Yes, we're gonna be on Patreon as well.
It took me a while to find that.
So tap into that. We got the politics show. We got maybe the after hours show, and we got the main feed. So we got plenty of stuff building as we build up to 2026. We're growing too. We're growing the empire too. So,
Bridget After Dark coming soon.
Oh, okay.
Bridget's Corner to Bridget After Dark.
Yeah, Bridget's Corner.
We had to put a pause on that. I got a little too crazy.
Yeah. So send your story. She's going to read it.
Yeah. Okay. This has been another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, the beautiful game of life, part of the Believe Network. William Monteroso, Bridget Flores. I'm Ramsey Abushala. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.